Yeah, thanks for the lovely introduction, and hello Brighton, how are you? I hope you had a nice lunch break and didn't eat too much and don't feel too drowsy. In Germany we call it the Schnitzel coma, where you get a little drowsy after eating too much. So just to get you more active and to get you more awake, I prepared a little quiz. Yeah, it's quiz time. Just to make sure everybody also listened exactly to the great talks we already heard. So hands up in the audience who knows what this is. Okay, a lot of people. And I brought a special prize, a German vegan chocolate, for the person who can tell me how old this concept is. Anyone? Any guess? Pardon? 20 years? Okay, best guess. Give it to the gentleman. So, yeah, you already guessed it. This is the so-called purchase funnel. It's a consumer-focused marketing model that illustrates the theoretical journey of a customer towards the purchase of a good or service. And in e-commerce, it's also called the conversion funnel. And it's used to track the journey of a customer going through internet advertising or search engine, then navigating through e-commerce website, and in the end, converting to a sale. So it was first mentioned by William W. Townsend, and it was in 1924. So 20 years plus 80 years. So this concept is 100 years old. So the question is, can this model still explain today's purchase processes in the internet? So this is also the question that the smart people at the Google's Consumer Insights team asked themselves. So they conducted a shopping behavior experiment in 2020. It lasted 2 years. And they wanted to find out, how do consumers decide what to buy and from who they want to buy it from. So what they did, they recruited 1,000 people and made them complete shopping tasks in over 30 categories, like TVs or smartphones and whatever. And they captured their behavior and listened to them in real time as they were telling them what they were thinking and what they were doing and why they were doing it. So this is the experiment, and after looking at all what they've seen so far, the Google team tried to scribble down what they've observed so far, and this is it. The first post-it they came up with. At the top, you see the purchase trigger, and at the bottom, you see the purchase itself. So, but in the middle, there is this confusing web of touch points, like search engines and review sites and news publishers and blogs and so on. And many of the shoppers spent a significant time navigating back and forth between websites and browser tabs and apps and so on. It was really, you can call it a mess. Yeah. So in the end, the Google people thought, okay, maybe we need a new model to explain what we've observed so far. And they came up with a messy middle model. I'm going to explain it. So there's a circular frame around it, which is called exposure. It's the awareness of all the brands and products in a category. It's like the sum of all the brand advertising emanating from a category that you've seen or heard. And in the middle, the core of the model is this loop, this exploration-evaluation loop. And on the left side is exploration, where people explore their options and expand their knowledge about it and expand their consideration sets, or as I learned it in marketing, relevant set. So on the right side, we see evaluation, where people actually evaluating those options and narrowing down the choices, the options that could be a choice. So in the end, there is, of course, the purchase itself. And when you purchase a product, you gain experience with it. And that feeds directly also back into the background exposure. So this is the model they came up with. And yeah, with that hypothesis in place, the next step for the Google people, the Google Consumer Insights team, was to see if they find real-world data in Google Trends. And they have a large data set in Google Trends, like on nearly 20 years of Google Trends. And what they did was they looked at those over 30 shopping categories, like TV, smartphones, and so on. And they looked for words that users most of the time modify those searches, the category with. Like, for example, cheap, best, or free. Yeah? People search for cheap TV or best smartphone and so on. And you might ask why free. It's because like in 2004, there people were also searching, like me, for free movies, free software, yeah, Napster people here. So remember this, but they did that for a lot of countries too. And this is a worldwide view. And it was nearly in every country the same phenomenon, that the search for cheap was replaced by the search for the best product. Yeah? So this is the phenomenon. And yeah, so if I give you, all the people in this room, a list of 10 products, and I ask you which is the cheapest product, I think everyone will easily identify it and then tell me the one product, so which is the cheapest. Because cheap is pretty objectively quantifiable. And if I gave you the same list of 10 products and I ask you which is the best product, I think nearly every product on the list will be at least mentioned once. So best is always a little bit more complex. It's subjective and yeah, sometimes emotional. Yeah. So plus, I'm showing here Amazon, the list of the product listing page for TVs. So there's over 10,000 results for TVs. And if you ever shopped online for a TV, nearly every thumbnail looks the same. It's always a TV. And they also nearly sound identical. Like it's always a brand plus a gibberish of random numbers and letters. So it's an abundant choice that can lead to a phenomenon called the paradox of choice. Yeah, it leads to some kind of paralysis where the consumer has so many choices that in the end they are frightened and sometimes they don't choose any of the products. So the messy middle is also a space of abundant information and unlimited choice. Shoppers have learned to managed through some kind of mental shortcuts that we look in the next slide. By the way, this I can recommend the book, A Paradox of Choice. It's written by this guy, not this guy. SEOs need to know this. So, yeah, the first mental shortcut is, or decision-making principle, is category heuristics. And these are, yeah, some vital pieces of information that help you clarify your options, like memory for a laptop, for example. Like, we marketers need to understand which characteristics most users or shoppers most associate with a product or service. Yeah, I brought you 2 recommendations. The first one is product-specific filters. Like if you have a shop that sells T-shirts and smartphones, for example, and you have on the left side those filters we saw, I think Sam was talking about filters this morning. And on the left side, you see all the filters, and you have the same filters for both categories, like brand, like price, and color. So, but you need category-specific filters, like for the smartphones, the amount of gigabyte or the megapixels for the camera, and for the T-shirts, maybe garment or something like that. And there's a study from Baymart.com, a really, really nice website I can recommend. And they found out that 42% of e-commerce stores don't have category-specific filters. So there's a chance for you. And another recommendation from my side is to promote important filters on top of the product listing page. So I brought 2 examples. One is from AO.com for TVs, and they show the screen size, which is one of the most important filters for TVs. It seems like that. So, and then I brought Lowe's.com, a shop here, popcorn machines. I don't know if anyone ever bought a popcorn machine, but here you have the important filters, like if it should use oil or hot air for making the popcorn. These are the important decisions, and they are helping the customers making these decisions. And 84% of shops don't do this. So there's another big chance. And you're going to ask me, hey, Florian, how do I get to these category-specific filters? Well, Google it, and that's what I did. These screenshots are from Google US. They may look different. It could also be a test, but this is what I found. I looked for TVs, and here in Google you can see you can already filter by display type, by refresh rate. These seem to be pretty important filters. For example, another example is I search for mattresses, and they have a buying guide. And of course, they have size, but also have firmness, for example. Seems to be a pretty good filter for mattresses. So the next decision-making principle is so-called authority bias. This is the tendency to alter our opinions or behaviors to match those we consider as experts on a subject or an authority. My recommendation here is to reassure shoppers through, like citation of awards, for example, or expert reviews for consumers where they're in categories where they lack domain-specific knowledge. Yeah? So I brought 2 examples. This one is AO.com for washing machines. Hands up who bought a washing machine once in his lifetime, her lifetime? Nearly everyone buys a washing machine, so bought a washing machine. So who considers themselves as an expert in washing machines? No hand. So if you are the shop, you're the expert, yeah? So what AO.com does, they clearly recommend one washing machine. They tell you this is the one you should buy. And there's also a nice study I found for adorebeauty.com. Here's a screenshot for organic shampoo for oily hair. And they have these product recommendations on top of the product listing page. And this study, I linked it here, led to an 98 increase in conversion rate and a 64 decrease in new customer cost. There's also another example I brought to you is from Mano Mano. I don't know if you know the brand. It's like a shop for, do-it-yourself tools or something like that. And they have on the product listing page on top something like a small buying guide. Yeah, they ask small questions, 1 to 3 questions. Here is the product listing page for jigsaws, and they ask what you are planning to do with your jigsaw: light work, regular work, heavy-duty work, impress your neighbor, I don't know. So they help you narrow down the products. And it's like they are the expert and they help you finding the best product. And another tip for my SEO people, and Greta also talked about it today, are more SEO-specific landing pages. I brought some examples from bestbuy.com. They do it pretty nicely, I think. For example, swimming smartwatch. They connect product or the category with purpose, for example, yeah? If you're searching for smartwatches that you go swimming with, people are searching that. So they don't want to click on every product page and want to check if it's waterproof or not. So you are the expert. You show them which smartwatches they can go swimming with, or which tablets are for students, or smartwatches for elderly people, or non-smart flat screen TVs, or like without. Yeah, last time I had a category like personal computer without operating system. So people can install their own operating system on the PC. They don't want to buy Windows PC. Yeah. So with both theory and experimental evidence in hand, it's time to wrap up things a little. So we need to check out which of these findings, what does these findings means in the real world for marketers. And the first key action here is ensure brand presence. Yeah, it's like be present in the search engine, result pages, in ads, in price comparison sites, social media platforms, because consumers instinctively favor brands that enable exploration, as I already talked about exploration, and yeah, provide a good user experience so that makes exploring as easy as possible, and yeah, present all the relevant information that makes it easy for the shopper to make a rapid transition into the evaluation phase. The second key action is employ behavioral science. So people do not choose brand A over brand B because they think brand A is better, but because they are more certain that brand A is good. So brands need to reassure, to provide this reassurance for the shoppers. So you have to make sure that your SERP or ad messaging is tailored to the needs of evaluative shoppers. And yeah, when they visit your site, the user experience should make it easy to go quickly into the evaluation phase. And yeah, I brought an example here from, I like it very much, from Ahrefs.com. It's a perfect category page. And here you have popular categories. I already talked about it. And they have here editors' picks, like you are the experts, showing which products they recommend. And the last key action is to close the gap between the trigger and the purchase. Once the purchase trigger has been pulled, it's your job to get your design, usability, user experience in order to ensure that your website doesn't shoot you in the foot. So there are certain kind of barriers that you need to get out of the way to help the customers make the purchase or a repeat purchase. And that could be, for example, poor page speed. I think Rob talked about it. Yeah, the site has to load quickly to make the purchase. And it's also inconsistent messaging between SERP snippet and the landing page. And yeah, you need to provide all the relevant product information for the user. And of course, user experience in general, for example, like unclear navigation. So that's it from me. Please check the study. I should have made a QR code. I'm just recognized. But just Google for the study. It's a nice PDF. And there's a lot in it for all the e-commerce folks. Thank you very much.